Okay, this is the last take. I'm pretty tired, but I really wanted to do this video tonight. My lighting is crap, but let's do this. Okay. I want to talk about software complexity. And I think the logical entry point is, well, the statement, programming is hard. It seems to be that sometimes people live in this world where they believe that you can just get the design right and write the code. Well, maybe for very simple things and simple problems, it is in fact that easy. But that's not the type of software that we usually work on. What I think is a good way of looking at software complexity is by splitting it up into two categories of complexity, the essential and the accidental. By essential complexity, we mean anything that is irreducibly part of the problem that we're trying to solve. It's simply the problem of talking to other humans and figuring out their understanding it and writing it down and making sure there's as little lost in translation along the way. We have methods to tackle this problem. There's domain-driven design, there's extreme programming, and there's DevOps. These are all disciplines, processes, things that we can apply that should, if done well, make it easier to deal with this process of getting this information and designing a solution. But then there's accidental complexity. Accidental complexity stems from the implementation that we chose. We make certain choices when implementing our solution, and some of those decisions come back to bite us. Well, some of the choices are about technology. We choose to use a certain framework or a programming language or a library, and those things tend to work most of the time, but when they break, we're stuck with a problem that isn't part of the essential problem. It's accidental. It's based on a choice that we made. We can avoid or at least try to minimize some of those things by being defensive about taking on dependencies, being a little bit cautious. There is this concept of using boring technology. The reason why I find that an attractive idea is because, well, it's sensible. We're trying to minimize risk. We're trying to minimize the accidental and incidental issues. And by taking something that has a proven track record, or maybe that is just dead simple, we're managing that risk. Conclusion. If you want to tackle essential complexity, we need the discipline and to invest the energy to fight back design entropy, to make sure our code doesn't rot. On top of that, we need to be very disciplined and structured about getting domain expertise into the team and into the minds of the developers so that there's very little chance of misinterpretation or incorrect assumptions. To tackle the accidental complexities, well, awareness is the start. We need to make sure that we understand that when we're facing problems that only Google can answer, that this is something that isn't unavoidable. What we can do is be very mindful and deliberate about taking on dependencies, making sure that boring technology isn't used as a derisive term, but instead seen as an investment in the future. Having come to the end of this, I hope you enjoyed it, and like, share, and subscribe.